What's going on, everyone? This is Jeremy, and this is Coalesce Fitness Solutions Podcast. Today we're going to talk about goal specificity. We're going to talk about what it means to have a specific goal and how having a specific goal creates clarity in programming and nutrition. So when we start to talk about fitness, we all kind of know that being fit comes from eating good and exercising. How we define fitness, or what I like to think of as being fit, is an ability to do any activity of personal interest. So for myself, that is jiu-jitsu. I just started doing jiu-jitsu about a year and a half ago, and since then I've become a blue belt under Matt Serra. And one of the things that I think is important about that is that I never wrestled. I did wrestle 2 years, or a year and maybe like one match of 9th grade. So 8th grade and part of 9th grade in middle school was the last time that I wrestled. I've avoided physical, obviously, like I've never gotten into a fight since I was in middle school, mainly because I know that it probably wouldn't end well for me. Not a very skilled fighter, but that's also part of the narrative that I told myself for a very long time, that I'm probably just not a good fighter, and then in the event that something might happen, well, I'll probably be okay because I'll just go crazy and start throwing wild punches or something. And I'm a big UFC fan. I've been a UFC fan probably since the 2000s, when the first season of The Ultimate Fighter came out. And it was just knowing, like, I think when I first saw kickboxing when I was younger, I realized like boxing seemed like super hard, and kickboxing just seemed 10 times harder because they're allowed to kick you. And I don't want to be kicked. So I never pursued any kind of martial arts. And as I got older, I started to realize that martial arts and wrestling, and to some degree gymnastics, the type of body awareness, well, definitely gymnastics based on that, the type of body awareness and work ethic that develops from pursuing martial arts and gymnastics and wrestling translates to almost any activity, especially fitness activities. But I always avoided that. Mainly, I just didn't feel strong enough to be able to do it, I guess. I don't want to get hurt. That's obviously a big one. And so when I first decided to go to jiu-jitsu over at Sarah BJJ, I didn't know how long I'd do it. I didn't realize how much it even really took to get decent at it. And when I say decent, I just mean, I don't know, the journey of martial arts seems like every time you think you've improved a little bit, along comes the next higher belt, and you're like, I don't know anything. And so when we're talking about goal specificity, my goal for jiu-jitsu isn't so much about getting my next belt, which is probably 2 to 3 years away. That's just how long it takes for certain belts in jiu-jitsu. But my goal is to be able to show up there regularly, because I know what it does for my confidence. And so in order for me to show up to jiu-jitsu regularly and still be able to perform at a pretty high level based on what I believe I'm capable of, I need to treat my body in a manner that's going to allow for better flexibility and better strength at end range. So that's going to dictate a lot of the exercise selection that goes into my personal workouts. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing lots of high rep workouts. I'm probably going to spend more time at end range doing things like holds and tempo work. I'm going to do a lot more rotational work, because a lot of the things that we do in jiu-jitsu and in running, which are my two favorite things to do as far as exercise goes, or as far as personal activities go, both of them are both heavy in rotation and contralateral movement, meaning one arm, one leg versus the other side, or together with the other side. So I don't do a lot of single joint movements unless I have some kind of pain issue going on, which I get pretty regularly bumped up from doing jiu-jitsu. But based on that primary goal of just being able to show up to my martial arts training, I want to be able to also go on runs when I want to. I want to go on long hikes, very challenging long hikes. And I want to be able to do those things relatively or I want to do those things pain-free, and I want to know that when I'm done doing them, I'm also going to be pain-free. Jiu-jitsu is a tricky one with that, because sometimes your arm gets twisted in a bad way, and you've got an actual injury. And I think the distinction between actual injury and pain, or bodily pain that we experience from daily life or from exercise, is that there's overuse and there's a repetitive action in those things, as opposed to a trauma. So if you were to get hit by a car, or you were to fall, or you were to have your arm bent behind your back, those would be all examples of trauma, as opposed to one day I woke up and my back was hurting or my knee was hurting and it just never really went away. Those are two different things, and those things need to be treated differently. When there's an injury, typically there needs to be some type of intervention from either a manual therapist or from a doctor, depending on the severity of it. And other times it's just a strength issue or a range of motion issue. So with goal specificity comes programming specificity. And programming specificity comes from careful testing, doing a movement screening and strength balance testing, knowing what patterns are overused or underused, and what needs to be improved where and when, to what means. So I had a new client come in the other day, and his goal was to lose weight so that he could go hiking in the Italian mountains by next April. So that's a very specific goal in a very specific time frame. And there are very specific things that a person needs to do to be able to go on long hikes. One of them is just obviously endurance. You need to be able to keep up a certain pace for a certain amount of time, so the heart and the lungs need to adapt to that longer work period. Another thing is going to be stepping strength. So things like walking up a mountain, you're going to be finding that you have to step over stones. You need to get up on top of things. You need to be able to, even if there are trails, your feet need to be able to adapt to the ground around you. So the kind of things that are valuable to a person whose goal is to be able to go on long hikes are going to be very different than the things that are valuable from a person who's trying to play baseball regularly, or basketball, or just chase their kids around. So the program for a individual who's looking to lose weight and go on a long hike is going to be very different than somebody who's looking to improve their strength on a bench press. Okay, so those are two very different people. For us, we're looking more for the people who are looking to do those long, real life world activities, as opposed to the people who are looking to gain absolute strength. Absolute strength is necessary in certain sports, such as football and CrossFit and strongman and powerlifting. But if those aren't your sports, then absolute strength is not that useful. A 1 rep max deadlift is not useful for someone who's trying to get a personal record on a 5K run. And to say that that time couldn't be better used elsewhere, and you could say, okay, but I like deadlifting, and that's cool. So that's fine. But if their time is limited for the exercise, for the activity that your goal is to do, well, then there are better selections of exercises. And so when we talk about a specific goal, we're going to talk about specific exercises that are going to contribute to that goal, because we all have very limited time to actually be training. So we don't want to waste 10 or 15 minutes of our hour during training on things that are not going to add to the value of the training and bring us closer to our goal. And so that goes for myself, and that goes for our clients here at Coalesce Fitness Solutions. We want very specific goals, and we want to accomplish those goals and check off those objectives. As those objectives are accomplished, we want to revisit the original objectives and start to talk about, are there new objectives? Is there a new goal that we're looking to move towards? If not, where are you looking to go at this point? We're looking to create autonomy. We're looking to accomplish goals and have our members feel like if they were to go off to a gym where they aren't being coached or they aren't having their programming written for them, that they'd be able to get the most out of whatever exercise protocol they decide to follow. And part of being able to get the most out of an exercise protocol, you need to know what your body does, when it does it, how it does it, what it needs to be doing, if it's doing it optimally, and what modifications you would need to make to get the most out of a pre-written workout. So if you were to take a template from the internet, you can go to any number of websites and just find a template for bodybuilding programs, powerlifting programs, CrossFit programs, physique programs, cardiorespiratory endurance programs. You can find how to improve your 1 mile time. All of those things are on the internet for free. Google them. Send me a message. I'll send you a free program, whatever you want. So you can find a free program wherever you would like to. But what you as an individual needs to be able to do, and what we try to cultivate in our current members and our members moving forward, is a sense of becoming competent and confident in movement so that you can autonomously execute a workout regardless of whether or not you're being coached one-on-one in a small group or completely on your own off in your garage one day. Knowing that you know exactly what you need to do as an individual to get the most out of your workouts without having a setback or creating dysfunction or pain. So having a specific goal creates a specific protocol that allows for the individual to learn what they need to be able to do to achieve the specific goals that they're coming in and looking to achieve. Specific goals can be anything. It can be anything that you as an individual want. It might be to just get out of pain and be able to get through the world without your knee, back, hip, and shoulder bothering you all at once. And it could be that you want to be able to go out dancing without having to worry about your knees and your ankles bugging you the next morning. Both of those things are very much related to strength and mobility, and just being able to identify where the insufficiencies are, or the inefficiencies in movement, or the insufficiencies in strength, or the imbalances in strength. Having one side of your body being stronger than the other creates dysfunction. Dysfunction creates compromised motor patterns, and that can help, and that can be the cause of injury or setback. So for anyone who is currently a member here, for those of you who might be listening for the first time, specific goals, meaning I want to improve my 2,000 meter row. I want to go away next October and walk the French Alps. Whatever those things are, whether it's just being able to function in the world regularly without pain, being able to go to Sunken Meadow and walk through the bluffs and not have some kind of, and be able to walk as far as you can, as long as you want, and not be worried about what the next day is going to feel like. Those are the kind of changes that we are looking to help people make. So if you're unfamiliar with fitness, or if you think that fitness is just about weight loss, if you're not sure what fitness really means, we're here to bridge the gap between healthcare and fitness. And what that means is that we're looking to help people who might have some limitation based on their body weight, or based on injury history, or based on pain. And you might know that you need to be doing something to help yourself so that you can move independently and lose the weight, or get to do the activities of daily interest to yourself, so that you can live an active and fulfilling life with more energy when you wake up than when you go to sleep. Or, well, I guess that's kind of obvious, but feeling more and more vitality as a result of the things that you do. We want to create a culture of pursuing wellness, pursuing feeling good. We want your workouts to feel good so that when you leave, you're energized and ready to take on the day and doing more. So we start everyone with personal training. If you're interested in finding out more about what we do at Coalesce Fitness Solutions, click the link in our bio, go to coalesce.fit and fill out the free consultation. We do a strategy session one-on-one. We like to meet and go over what your individual needs are, what your background is, what your history is, injury history, exercise history, accidents, surgeries. We want to know the kind of things that might get in the way of your training, so that we can determine what we would recommend for you as an individual as far as personal training versus individual programming. So we're Coalesce Fitness Solutions, located in East Northport, New York, 2090 Jericho Turnpike. East Northport. Coalesce.fit. Click the link, and we'd love to get to know you. Have a good day.